Hi, this is Chef Paul. Welcome back to Wine Basics. And you know, without fear of exaggeration, there are literally thousands of books on wine. You can walk into any bookstore and find stacks of them. Wine for Dummies. Again, I have a couple of favorites. Probably my favorite wine textbook would be the Windows on the World Complete Wine Course. It's available in a lot of different editions. You can pick them up online for pennies, literally. But it's a great book to lead you through a fairly advanced course in wine. One of my other favorite books, though, is called The Wine Lover's Companion. This is one I suggest all my students get. It's a little small but thick book that basically is an encyclopedia of wine. Every wine term you could possibly think of, every style of grape, everything is covered in this. So it's important to arm yourself with some knowledge. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about what are we going to have with the wine? Or maybe what wine are we going to have with the food? I'd like to start where I start most people, with this West Coast Riesling. It's a nice, light, a little on the sweet side, white wine. And it goes well with all kinds of food. For someone who is a wine novice, maybe that's the best way to put it, I might have them start with a wine like this, a Riesling. Maybe not necessarily a German Riesling, but a West Coast U.S. Riesling. This would give them a very, very basic starting point for understanding a wine. Now, this wine is not going to play any tricks. It's going to give you a very certain, specific set of varietal characteristics. A smell of tree fruit like green apples and white peaches. And that light little bit of a sweet flavor is going to pair well with certain foods, and it's not going to pair well with other foods. While I might love to have a glass of this with a piece of broiled or grilled fish or poultry, it might not go so well with a big thick steak or a piece of fatty oily fish like salmon or mackerel. So understanding what goes with what is a great starting point for your education in wine. What I do want you to remember, though, is there are no hard and fast rules. You can drink whatever you want with whatever you want. Okay? This goes just as well with a nice fresh Cobb salad or fish tacos as it does with a chicken salad sandwich or a hamburger. Okay? It's understanding and finding wines that you like. So again, with a lighter white like this Riesling or maybe a Pinot Grigio, I might pick lighter dishes with a little bit of spice to them. Maybe Thai food, ramen dishes, even some leaning towards a little bit on the spicier side, Indian foods and curries. They go well with this because they're a little bit more on the acidic side, and they're going to help break some of those flavors down on your palate. That's why I like these. They're light enough to where they're not going to overpower the food. If we were to pick something like this, this Syrah or Shiraz, this might overpower something like a light chicken salad or a piece of broiled fish. It might overpower the flavors on your palate, and all you're going to get is this. So a lot of understanding wine pairing is trying to make sure that one doesn't outdo the other. It'd be like having a concert level horn section stand in with a high school band. All you're going to hear is that horn section. If you pick a wine that's stronger than the food you're trying to enjoy, all you're going to have is the wine. So it's really important to try to come up with some kind of a balance. So again, lighter wines, lighter foods. Heavier wines with heavier foods. Now, this Chardonnay I would absolutely enjoy with a big steak. No problem at all, because it's big, bold flavors with some smoky characteristics to it. So understanding these is important, and the only way to do that is through tasting. As we look and we smell and we see and we taste, we start to build up some information about each one of these wines. Again, if we're going to start with Riesling, which is where, if you're a wine newbie, this is where I'd like you to start. Not necessarily this brand, but I'd like you to start with a West Coast Riesling. And I'd like you to try it with maybe some broiled chicken, pizza, or a taco salad, or fish tacos, or maybe some light fish. I think you're going to find that this style of wine, this light, little on the sweet side, would pair really nicely with those kinds of foods. And what you're going to find is they're not going to overpower each other. They're going to really blend well together. I want you to remember one thing through all these videos. Wine is food. And if you remember that, it's not a demon, though we've demonized it. It's just the juice of grapes that has been allowed to ferment. That's all it is. And like anything else, in moderation, it's not going to do you any harm. Hopefully, the right wine with the right food is going to make an evening exponentially better. The right wine will make the food better, and the right food will make the wine better. So this is where I want you to start. A nice basic Riesling with a light dish. And from there, we're going to talk about where you're going to go on to next. But do me a favor. The next time you go out to a restaurant, find something lighter on the menu, order a glass of Riesling. And then do your own little experiment. Taste the food, taste the wine, find how they work together. There may be cases where they work together, just as well. There may be cases where they don't. And that's important also. It's important to understand what doesn't go with things. When I do wine tastings with my students, I make them taste wine, and I have an assortment of food for each wine. Typically, I'll have something like a pepperoni, spicy, fatty, meaty. Pepperoni, some sort of a bread, a toasted piece of brioche or a toasted piece of French bread. I'll have grapes, okay? And I'll also have maybe a piece of chocolate to get them to understand the different kinds of flavors: sweet, sour, salty, and bitter. And we find things go well together and some things don't go well together. Part of this, because everybody's taste is different and our taste changes as we grow older, it's going to be up to you to decide, wow, that Riesling was really good with pizza. Or I'm going to have Riesling with my pad thai tonight. Or I'm not going to have Riesling with my pad thai tonight. Understanding these things is critical. Ask your waiter. Ask if there's a wine expert on staff, and ask for a taste. Hopefully, this journey that we've started with this simple bottle of Riesling will build into a repertoire of wines and foods that you're going to be able to help educate your friends too. Be the smartest person at the table. So this is Chef Paul. Come back. We're going to talk about red wines next.